Now we'll have a look at how to use quantities in Asteroid. We're now going to create a table using quantities, and we'll also look at changing settings. First of all, the table we're going to put together is to investigate the number of respondents in each state by socio-economic scale and the number of nights they were away on their last long trip. First of all, we'll add in the row and column variables, that's states and socio-economic scale. For the quantity that we're looking for, it's not available in all items. We need to go to the Quantities tab. The one we're looking for is number of nights away on last long trip. You can't put quantities into rows or columns. You also can't put it into layers. You need to put it into the quantity area of the selection screen. We'll run the table, and you can see at the top here that we have quantity, number of nights away on last long trip. So with this quantity applied, we now have number of nights rather than a population figure available as our weighted count. This figure here is the total number of nights away on last long trip for everyone is a little over 1.4 billion. For those in the AB quintile, the total number of nights away on a last long trip is almost 35 million. If we continue looking at the AB quintile, for those in the AB quintile who also live in New South Wales, they spent a total of 13,472 nights away on their last long trip. So this weighted count here also refers to whatever quantity you have applied to the table. On average, the AB quintile spent 10.21 nights away on their last long trip, and of course that's for those who live in New South Wales. We can say that 95% of the time this average will range between 9.65 and 10.77 nights away. And finally, 38.5% of the total nights away on last long trip taken by those in the AB quintile was spent by those who live in New South Wales. What we're going to do now is change the settings. First of all, I'll go to Settings, Show Numbers, and add in the unweighted count. As I mentioned previously, the unweighted count is the only bit of data that refers to population or respondents. All these other figures refer to the quantity that you have applied to the table. I'm going to go to the Settings task, Show Numbers, and we have the tick box to say show both quantified and unquantified weighted counts when a quantity is applied. Now we have our population figure with unweighted count, and we have a WC, a weighted count of population, and a QWC, a quantity weighted count, which still refers back to the quantity applied to the table. So in our AB quintile, for those who live in New South Wales, we've got 1.3 million people. The other setting we're going to change, by default this is all respondents. I'll change this to respondents with quantity greater than 0. You'll see that when we change the setting, the weighted count for the population changes. So where before it was 1.3 million, it's now 991,000. And it has also changed our mean value. Previously it was 10.21. And it has changed the confidence limits from 0.56 to 0.67. By changing the base, it is essentially filtered to only those people who have had some nights away on a last long trip.